Rings of Power continues to make a massive embarrassment out of itself and desecrate Tolkien's legacy, but at the very least, we can get some laughs out of it. So let's go ahead and dive into today's video. Now, y'all saw me talk about on Friday Night Tights and as well on my own channel, I will dunk on Rings of Power like crazy. I did watch the first 3 episodes to A, actually give it a shot, and B, talk about it. And that's exactly what I've done. We all know it's a giant mess, okay? So let me go ahead and start with this. I'm going to go into this tweet here more in a minute. But he does make this original post where he shares a fight scene in one of the recent episodes, which is just... Oh my gosh, some of them Britney music. That's what he did. I gotta mute the music though because I can't get a copyright strike. But oh my gosh, the choreography, this is just embarrassing. Let me move my fat head out of this. This is embarrassing. It's just terrible. Like, really? What is going on here? Just an embarrassingly bad choreographed fight scene in this billion-dollar series. I mean, bro, we see so much better out of anything else. And it was funny because he made this tweet and he said, that's a lot of views because he got 10,000 views on that video. And I said, wow, you pulled more viewers than Amazon did on the actual episode. Which it does feel like. But yeah, let's also look at this. The Rings of Power is a masterpiece. As you can see, they've copied and pasted a lot of people from the crowd. Now, this does happen to some degree, but dude, $1 billion show that you're bragging about your budget on, and this is just... people keep pointing out even more of the same faces of the copy and pasting going on here. You'll also see here where people... the 2 genders of bad TV fantasy writing, right? Where this one is House of the Dragon, it looks like, where our hearts remain as one. And then in this quote, our hearts were never one. And then you have the past is with us all. And then you have this, the past is dead. All right. Someone else also pointed out these cheaply 3D printed looking horse armor that looks very cheaply 3D printed, no paint. You look at a lot of the armor that is on the characters in general where it either looks 3D printed or it looks printed on fabric. They definitely went very cheap with their production, which is pretty insane. Like here we had the printed on fabric. This looks like something I've seen cosplayers do better on with very limited budget, and this is supposed to be a $1 billion production. So yeah, I mean, dude, it's pretty embarrassing. This is what happens when you care more about the message and when you care more about rewriting a legacy than actually wanting to produce something good. And actually, as they claim this is a love letter, this is a love letter to Tolkien. That's hardly the case. The biggest point of this entire thing, it was to rewrite the legacy, was to shoehorn their message. I believe there was even a mock Trump rally in one of their recent episodes, which is so cringe. But yeah, like I've said, I endured 3 episodes, and that's all I plan on enduring of this, unless I just absolutely want more to discuss on this whole thing. I may subject myself to more torture, but right now, that is not the plan, and this looks absolutely terrible. And I think the most egregious and worst thing about it, it's funny because they think that they had some sort of shield here, right? They think they had some sort of shield with... okay, we can just call our viewers racist if they don't like it, because we're just going to assume the only reason they don't like it is because there's, elves or dwarves of different races in there. Now, that's a whole other discussion. Obviously, it does not fit into the Tolkien universe established here. But again, that is the least egregious thing that they'd even done. The writing is so embarrassingly bad. The costumes look terrible. The choreography of this fight scene, but the absolute most egregious and worst thing they've done here is taken Galadriel, who, as we've seen in Peter Jackson's interpretations of Tolkien's work, we've seen her done justice in such an amazing way, to where you see her as this ethereal, powerful, feminine being. I mean, she's demigod-like status. Even in while I do have a lot of complaints with like the Hobbit movies, especially Battle of the Five Armies, that last Hobbit movie had a lot of issues that I thought was lame. But all in all, in terms of even like Galadriel had a really awesome scene in that movie where she like banishes Sauron, and she is just this incredibly powerful ethereal magic user, and to see her reduced to nothing but a discount Eowyn with an attitude problem, seeming like she's perpetually on the rag, is just embarrassing. It's just okay, just ruining her legacy as a character. Also, the writing is the absolute worst part, no doubt. It's the writing and the interpretation of Galadriel. And here you see this scene, which I think this user will illustrate. Let me move my fat head and go over this.
You are immersed in a light more intoxicating than any sensation in all of Middle-earth.
When I was a child, it was the only feeling I knew.
Stop! Stop! You're breaking it! Stop! I told you it wouldn't float. Get off me!
And you are immersed
All right, so
in
make
light
this
more
make sense, okay? This Twitter user says the intoxicating sensation of bullying. The beginning of the episode shows Galadriel had a difficult childhood. A few scenes later, she says it was all pure bliss. Rings of power. Hashtag rings of power. So, I mean, as you can see, there's just not any consistency going on here. I feel like this was phoned in. You can always tell when something is a passion project and when the people involved genuinely care about it versus when it's just, like I said, phoned in, used for a cash grab or used to share a message more so than actually care about the source material. And that's exactly what has happened here. So, yeah, that's embarrassing. But anyway, before I end this video, let me go ahead and address something. So, David Jaffe, I made a video about him not that long ago. Because he did make a statement, as you see right here, Bounding Into Comics covered this. He's the original God of War director. He made some claims about critics of female-led Marvel projects being misogynistic, homophobic, and racist. Okay, so then I made a video where I went over this and addressed it, and ultimately what I was going for in this video is I feel like he made a blanket statement here, and this blanket statement I personally felt was directed at some of my friends in this whole content space, and so yeah, I took issue with that, and I did talk about it. And then David Jaffe made a response here. He felt like he was misrepresented. He made a whole video about it. And I did want to take a moment to address that while I don't disagree with the points that I originally made, I think that, I still stand by those points. And I do think that this kind of a blanket statement is ignorant to make and stupid to make, and I disagree with that, just like I disagree with a lot of other things he said. But I do think that in execution of my video, especially with my thumbnail, I didn't go about it in a way that I normally like to go about things. I don't ever want to make anybody feel like they're being personally attacked or that their character is being assassinated. And in this case, I do feel like David feels like he was misrepresented in the points that he tried to make, and I do feel like he felt like that I or the way that I presented my video was trying to make him out to be a bad person, in which I wasn't. But let me just go ahead and share his response real quick, and then I'm just going to go over that quickly. I didn't want to make a whole video about this because I didn't think it was warranted and I didn't want to be dramatic. But let me just share his response, and then I'll add something more, and then I'll close the video. This just makes me want to facepalm so hard because...
Well, you just did it. You don't even have to make you want to facepalm. You literally just did it. See how that works? I don't even think you know it literally. Did she say literally?
Time. Now, as a woman, seeing something like this just makes me want to facepalm so hard.
Okay, I did the literally part, but she literally just did it. So
because here is some dude trying to, you know, just be a champion of women here.
Where is that? That's in your head, my little friend. That's in I'm trying to be a champion of women? I'm calling out something that I find troubling, problematic, offensive, and dumb. I don't need to champion you. I don't need to help you out. Go deal with your own shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm telling you this is a problem in my eyes. On my fucking channel. Nobody's fucking championing anybody, you moron. Yeah, Herp Derp says, these people see anything as virtue signaling if you're ever nice or defensive of women. Yeah, Jaffe, can she say more than one sentence before you respond? No, because I'm responding to her video.
And all right, so there's that. I do think that his actual commenter who said that, can you watch more of her video before responding? I do agree with that person. He should have actually listened to what I said before responding instead of just taking it segment by segment. Because as you can see by his reaction, there was a lot of assumptions there. So I think part of what he took issue with, he also did to me as well. But that's beside the point. Even after I uploaded that video, I do think that I should have practiced more tact, and I should have delivered it in a way that didn't come across as a personal attack, that just more so stayed focused on what he actually said and what I disagreed with what he said, because again, I still do disagree with what he did say, and I do think it's ridiculous. But I think that he felt like, and what I'm sensing here is more defensive energy than antagonistic energy. And I do feel like he was hurt by feeling like he was being painted as a bad person when that's not what I was intending to do there at all. So for that reason, I did put the video on unlisted. Just so I wouldn't spread it more. I'm not taking it down because I'm not trying to hide anything. So you can, I'll even put a link to anybody who wants context that you can still watch the video and you can see what I said. And I also am not expecting him to take his video down because, I don't have an issue with it at all. But anyway, I did want to clear the air on that to, in case, any of David Jaffe's fans are watching this, or if he wanted me to clarify anything on it. My whole intent with that video was to, hey, I'm taking your blanket statement that you made that is unfair to the people that this is targeted at or perceived targeted at. But he didn't single a single person out, so I will give him that, to my knowledge at least. So I think that that's a blanket statement. Well, let me reply with another blanket statement on how people typically, why they do virtue signal on behalf of others and why they do it and what could possibly, and I theory crafted a possible motivation behind that. But anyway, yeah, I could do a whole video on that, but I just didn't see it necessary. And again, I don't want to be overly dramatic about this kind of situation. But if anybody else tries to come at me or tries to get me to take a video down, dude, I am not in the business of that. But in this particular video, and especially in how I made the thumbnail and all that kind of stuff, I do think that that was a fair criticism, that I did make the topic at hand a bit too personal, and I should have delivered it better than I did. So I can't agree with that, and my apologies again to David Jaffe and his followers for painting him in a light that I should have framed it better, and I should have framed it with, hey, I disagree with your points, but again, not trying to paint him out as a bad person. So anyway, there you have it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you next time, and in the meantime, Go boom.